Welcome to the training series following the nutrition guidelines for student nutrition programs. This series is designed to help you follow the Provincial Student Nutrition Program Nutrition Guidelines of 2020. The training series has been developed by Toronto Public Health for student nutrition programs operating within the City of Toronto. The information in the training series is intended to guide student nutrition program volunteers and coordinators, as well as staff or administrators at schools or community agencies who are involved in the planning, ordering, or operating of student nutrition programs. This training module highlights the Provincial Student Nutrition Program Nutrition Guidelines and will discuss the vegetables and fruit food category. It is Module 1 of a 4-module series. Toronto Public Health is not responsible for any misinterpretation or misuse of this presentation. The information in this presentation reflects what is known at the time of release only. This is the first of 4 modules in a series of training videos on following the nutrition guidelines for student nutrition programs. In order to receive a certificate recognizing that you completed the full training, you must complete all 4 training videos and complete a knowledge quiz. You may find it useful to have a copy of the Nutrition Guideline Summary for student nutrition programs with you to help you follow along. You can access the Nutrition Guideline Summary, sample menus, and knowledge quiz by going to www.toronto.ca/student-nutrition-program/ then click on Training and Resources. On the same web page, you will also find the training Basic Safe Food Handling for Student Nutrition Programs. Please remember to complete this training as well. The key topics that will be covered in this module are importance of student nutrition programs, nutrition guidelines for student nutrition programs, respecting food choices, key changes in updated nutrition guidelines, finding information on packages, and then the vegetables and fruit category. Examples of vegetables and fruit on the serve list and do not serve list, and label reading for packaged vegetables and fruit. Take a moment to think about why student nutrition programs are important. Student nutrition programs serve an important function in a child's day. For various reasons, many children and youth go to school without first eating breakfast or eating very early in the day, well before the school day begins. The Breakfast Clubs of Canada reports that 1 in 4 children are at risk of going to school hungry, which may be higher with the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the student nutrition program, children have access to a nutritious meal before or during the school day. Since student nutrition programs offer children a variety of healthy foods, programs can help children meet their daily nutrient requirements for healthy growth and development. When kids eat breakfast through the student nutrition program, they are better prepared to learn and less at risk of health problems in later years. The purpose of the nutrition guidelines is to help you as you plan and operate your student nutrition program to create a welcoming space for all children and youth at your program, encourage children and youth to listen to their natural hunger and fullness cues, offer foods that have the most nutritional value, and create simple, nutritious menus for meals and snacks. The nutrition guidelines are based on current research and best practices in healthy eating. When planning your menu, it is important to understand and respect that some students may have certain food choices and restrictions that lead to them avoiding certain foods. The reason could be medical, which is diagnosed by a doctor, such as diabetes, heart disease, or food allergies and intolerances, to name a few. I will discuss allergies and intolerances on the next slide. There could be personal reasons too, such as religious or cultural practices and ethical choices. Examples of these include eating halal or kosher. A handout is available for more information on how to choose halal foods. The resource Understanding Halal Food is available on the Student Nutrition Ontario Toronto program portal. Food choices could also be related to sustainability, organic, unfair treatment to animals, eating local, vegetarian, or vegan diets. It is important to ask the parents to inform the student nutrition program about specific foods that their children avoid, so that suitable foods can be made available for them if possible. It's very important to follow the allergy and anaphylaxis policy for the school or agency where the student nutrition program is operating from. An allergy and anaphylaxis policy also includes anaphylaxis emergency plans for each student with allergies. Consult the school's principal for more information. In order to help keep children and youth with food allergies safe and feeling well, use these best practices. Supervise young children while eating. Have a no sharing rule while eating. Encourage all students to wash their hands before and after eating. Ensure eating surfaces are cleaned before and after the program. Offer alternative options for students with food allergies. For example, students with milk allergies can be offered a fortified soya beverage instead of milk, and students with celiac disease can have gluten-free whole grain crackers instead of whole wheat crackers. Consult with the parent or guardian before offering an alternative to a student. Setting a plan so that a child can still participate in the student nutrition program may require meeting with your principal and the parents. To help plan the menu, you can find information about allergens present in foods by reading the food packages and the ingredient list. Depending on the situation, it may be necessary for parents to send some special foods so their child can still enjoy a meal or snack with their classmates. The best approach is to manage on a case-by-case basis in order to plan an inclusive menu. For more support, you can also reach out to a registered dietitian at Toronto Public Health through snp@toronto.ca. If you have been involved with your student nutrition program for several years, you will notice that there are some key areas where the updated nutrition guidelines are different from the previous student nutrition program nutrition guidelines that you used to plan your menus before. This slide highlights some of these key differences. The updated nutrition guidelines now have 3 food categories instead of 4 food groups. The categories are vegetables and fruit, whole grains, and protein foods. They are the same categories in Canada's Food Guide. Specific serving sizes for food items are not listed. Look for products with less than or equal to 10% daily value of sodium per serving. The percent daily value shows how much or how little of a nutrient is in a food or beverage. We will discuss label reading more in depth in the upcoming modules. Milk and yogurt should have less than or equal to 2% milk fat. Vegetable and fruit juice, including 100% juice, are on the Do Not Serve list. Chocolate and flavored milk and flavored sweetened plant-based beverages are on the Do Not Serve list. The 3 food categories from Canada's Food Guide are vegetables and fruit, protein foods, and whole grain foods. The Student Nutrition Program may offer 1 meal or snack to children and youth during the school day. The other meals the students eat outside of school would contribute towards their daily food intake. That is why every meal and snack at the Student Nutrition Program should contain a food from the vegetable and fruit category to help children and youth ensure they get the nutrients needed for healthy growth and development. Where possible, offer larger portions of vegetables and fruit over the other food categories. As outlined in the Student Nutrition Program Nutrition Guidelines, a meal at a student nutrition program is considered a breakfast, morning meal, or lunch that offers 3 food categories, while a morning or afternoon snack offers 2 food categories. What is a healthy student nutrition program meal? It includes at least 1 vegetable or fruit, plus 1 protein food, plus 1 whole grain food. What is a healthy student nutrition program snack? It includes at least 1 vegetable or fruit, plus 1 protein food, or 1 whole grain food. You will notice that for each food category, the amount of food or serving size is not suggested. When it comes to serving food at your student nutrition program, it is important to trust that children and youth know how much they need to eat to best satisfy their appetite. All children and youth should be encouraged to pay attention to these natural hunger and fullness cues. Foods categorized as do not serve foods at the Student Nutrition Program do not align with the recommendations of Canada's Food Guide. They are highly processed and have higher amounts of added sugar and/or salt. They contain unhealthy fats such as saturated fat and/or small amounts of nutrients. A diet high in these foods can increase risk of several chronic diseases. The photo shows some examples of foods that do not meet the Student Nutrition Program nutrition guidelines. These would be on the Do Not Serve list in the nutrition guidelines. There are other do not serve foods and beverages that will be discussed further in upcoming modules. For the complete list, please review the Student Nutrition Program nutrition guidelines. In order to easily select packaged foods to include in your Student Nutrition Program menu, it's important to understand how to read the nutrition label included in the food packaging. There are 3 areas to find important nutrition information. The front of the package can give you some important information such as % milk fat in dairy products, or indicate if a product is a good source of a specific nutrient, such as fiber. But beware, it can also mislead you. So it's very important to look at the ingredient list and nutrition facts table to get the full picture. The ingredient list is very important. The ingredients are listed in descending order by weight. The first ingredient is in the food in greatest amount. Manufacturers change the ingredients in their food products over the years, so it's important to check the ingredient list often to be sure that it still meets the nutrition guidelines. We then have the nutrition facts table. Information in the nutrition facts table is based on a quantity called serving size. The serving size tells you the amount of food used to calculate the numbers in the nutrition facts table. The serving size is at the top of the table. The main nutrients to look for while choosing foods for your student nutrition program are sugar and sodium content. You want to be sure that the amounts meet the requirements for each food category. We will go into detail in future slides. It's also important to look at fiber content, depending on the food you are considering. The percent daily value shows how much or how little of a nutrient is in a food or beverage. 5% DV or less means there is a little of a nutrient, and 15% DV or more means there is a lot of a nutrient in the food or beverage. Fresh produce and items made in-house, such as fresh made breads and bakery items, do not need to have a nutrition facts table. If you turn to the last page of the handout, Nutrition Guideline Summary for Student Nutrition Programs, you will see that it gives you specific information on what to look for on a food package. We will now look at the vegetables and fruit category, then choose food products that meet the nutrition guidelines by reading the labels. Let's start with the first food category, vegetables and fruit. At least one vegetable or fruit should be offered with every meal or snack. Since children and youth do not consume enough vegetables and fruit, it is important that they eat a vegetable or fruit at the student nutrition program. This slide shows some examples of vegetables and fruit to serve in your student nutrition program. Look at the nutrition guidelines and sample menus for more examples. Fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables and fruit are all acceptable options to serve. For packaged items, you will need to check the label to identify if the food meets the nutrition guidelines. I will discuss this more on the next slide. There should be no added salt or sauce to the vegetables. There should be no added sugar to packaged fruit, and canned fruit should be in water or 100% juice and drained. If dried fruit such as raisins are offered, they should be offered with water, crunchy vegetables, fruit, or cheddar cheese. Offering dried fruit with a meal will help to reduce the risk of cavities. To help identify if a vegetable or fruit meets the Student Nutrition Program nutrition guidelines, pay attention to these questions. The answer to these questions should be yes in order for them to meet the nutrition guidelines. Looking at the ingredient list, is there no added sugar in packaged fruit? There should not be any sugar listed in the ingredients list if no sugar was added. Is canned fruit in water or 100% juice? It should not be in syrup. Is there no added salt or sauce in frozen vegetables or cooked vegetables? Check the ingredient list to be sure there is no added salt. Looking at the nutrition facts table. Remember, this information is based on a quantity called serving size. Remember that the percent daily value shows how much or how little of a nutrient is in a food or beverage. The daily value is found on the nutrition facts table. 5% daily value or less means there is a little of a nutrient, and 15% daily value or more means there is a lot of a nutrient in the food or beverage. Is there 10% daily value or less of sodium for canned vegetables? Check to make sure it is 10% or less. Let's have a look at an example of packaged fruit. Here we have two kinds of applesauce. We need to check the ingredient list and ask, is there no added sugar in packaged fruit? In the first example, the front of the package says unsweetened. And when we look at the ingredient list, we see that there is no added sugar. However, the second example has high fructose corn syrup listed as the second ingredient. High fructose corn syrup is a cheap form of sugar common in packaged foods. When you see words ending in OSE, it indicates that this is a form of sugar. So which applesauce would you pick for your program? You would want to choose the first one since there is no added sugar. If you refer to the Nutrition Guideline Summary for student nutrition programs, you will see that in each food category, there are examples of foods to serve and foods not to serve. The vegetables and fruit category is on the second page. Some examples of items within this category that should not be served include fruit gummies, vegetable and fruit chips, French fries, hash browns, and instant potatoes, vegetable and fruit juice, including 100% juice, and you may review the full list in the Nutrition Guideline Summary. This module covered the following topics: the importance of student nutrition programs, nutrition guidelines for student nutrition programs. This included respecting food choices, key changes in updated nutrition guidelines, and finding information on packages. We also discussed the vegetables and fruit category. This included examples of vegetables and fruit on the serve list and the do not serve list, and label reading for packaged vegetables and fruit. This concludes Training Module 1, Nutrition Guidelines and Vegetables and Fruit category. You can access Module 2, Protein Foods, by going to www.toronto.ca/student-nutrition-program/ then click on Training and Resources. You can also visit the City of Toronto's website, which is updated regularly with health advice and information. For more information on nutrition and student nutrition programs, go to www.toronto.ca/student-nutrition-program/ then click on Training and Resources. You will find information such as the new nutrition guidelines, sample menus, COVID-19 food safety and nutrition resources, and training videos. You can get answers to specific nutrition questions by emailing snp@toronto.ca. For food safety questions, email dinesafe@toronto.ca or call 416-338-7600 or 311.